When 3 friends entered an apartment, 2 would come out alive, but both covered in blood. What really happened that night inside of apartment 1601? It appeared as though no one may ever know, as the survivors claim that they were not able to remember anything from that night. Odd texts, strange statements, and an even weirder 911 call made this case frustrating to almost everyone who came in contact with it. You are such a genuine gem. Thank you for clicking on my video. I am Brooke Makenna, and today's case is one that will leave you baffled and confused and wondering if the right person was put in jail or if we could even make that decision, because there is so little to go on as far as what they remember, but the evidence is loud. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, and I would just love to hear your theories on this one. I'm so excited to bring you today's sponsor, which is Bombas. This is a brand I love to work with because they do good in giving back. Bombas started when the founders realized that socks were a huge need for the homeless population and the shelters, and so they went to work for the next decade to create the perfect socks that are comfortable and that give back. So one purchase of Bombas equals one donation to those in need. Just from the last few times of sponsoring them, I've gotten so many comments from people who have actually worked within shelters with Bombas and have seen the impact that they have created, and it just warms my heart so much. In fact, my boyfriend's family actually knew about Bombas themselves. I was telling them about it, and they have also seen the work that Bombas has done. So I just feel so grateful that I have gotten to work with Bombas, and I really hope that this is a brand that you end up supporting. And it's not just that they give back, it's also that they have such good quality. I've talked to you guys about my sensory issues with the toe seams of socks, and with these you can't even feel it. There isn't a seam here. It is just pure softness, and it is perfect. They also have clothing items like underwear with very minimal seams to make sure that it's comfortable, and they have tees that don't have those itchy tags in the back. Bombas has 100% happiness guarantee for free returns and exchanges, but they have already donated over 150 million clothing items to those in need. I honestly just rewash and rewear my Bombas instead of going to any of the other socks that I had previously. So I went ahead and I ordered some more. These long ones are my favorite to wear with winter boots during the winter season, and Bombas is quickly becoming the only socks that I reach for. With Bombas, you can feel good and do good, and they are giving first-time customers a 20% off of their first purchase. Just go to bombas.com/Brooke and use code Brooke20 for 20% off. Now let's get back to the story. So it was 2013 in Maryland, and on October 13th, a 911 call came from a Silver Springs apartment. This was a female voice who would begin to ask for help, but she wasn't sure why she was asking for help. She was asked what else was happening, and she said she didn't know. She was then heard asking someone on her side of the line what was happening. She was talking about a friend, and then she stated that he wasn't breathing. A male voice was then heard saying, "Get off of me."
Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police.
What do you need the police for?
My friend is, he's here, and I need emergency right now.
Okay, what is going on that you need the police? What is happening?
I don't know.
Okay, we need to know what assistance you need. What is happening with your friend?
Now? He's not breathing, okay? I don't know.
Taylor, hello. Can somebody come back to the phone, please? Hello?
Stop.
Please. Off of me. Don't touch me.
I'm doing wrong.
No.
I'm doing wrong, okay? Stop.
Taylor.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I need you to talk to me because I don't know what's going on, and all I hear is people saying to get off of me. Taylor, why did you call 911? What's going on?
Nothing.
You're not answering my questions, so I need to talk to somebody who will.
What do you want me to answer for?
I need you to tell me why you called, so I can make sure I'm sending the correct help.
The way that you've been answering questions, something's not right. You need to tell me
I'm sorry.
what is happening.
I don't know. I just need someone here. There's blood
Okay,
everywhere.
what do you mean there's blood everywhere? What happened?
I don't know.
Who is bleeding?
I don't know. I just want someone here.
Has anyone been drinking or using any drugs tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, who has? Everybody?
Yeah.
What have you been drinking?
Just alcohol.
Okay, what kind of alcohol has everybody been drinking?
Just alcohol. I don't know. I
I'm just
need
asking
someone here
because-
tonight, right now.
Ma'am, they're coming right now, but the way that you've been answering questions, something's not right. You need to tell me
I'm sorry.
what is happening.
I don't know. I just need someone here. There's blood
Okay,
everywhere.
what do you mean there's blood everywhere? What happened?
I don't know.
How do you not know? You see what's going on. We don't. You need to tell us and paint the picture of what's happening right now.
I don't know. I just need someone here. I'm scared. I just want someone here.
So at 3:25 the morning of October 13th, police responded to a call at 1220 East West Highway Apartment 1601. Officers would knock on the door. They would receive no response, even though they could hear movements and yelling from inside. Suddenly the door unlocked and they came face to face with a female. It was very obvious she was very intoxicated, and she proceeded to tell the officers that she wasn't sure what happened. She was asking them what happened. She was in place in handcuffs and detained outside of the apartment. Officers then entered this 500 square feet studio apartment that was quite small and found two males lying on the floor. One male was groaning, covered in blood, and he was lying next to the other male who was making no sound or movement, and they were both near this bed. Paramedics would find that the male still lying and not moving had suffered 6 stab wounds as well as 5 cutting injuries. One stab wound was to his lung, another severed his jugular, and this killed him in minutes. It hadn't been instant. There were definite defense wounds, and a knife was believed to be the murder weapon that was found under this unconscious man's body. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and the male next to him that had come back to consciousness was taken into custody. The murder victim was identified as 23-year-old Mark Waugh. He had graduated from George Washington University in May of 2012. He had studied history and had been a member of the debate team. He was said to be extremely smart and great at speaking. He had actually just come back to the area from teaching in Korea for a year, and he was a first-year law student at the time with a bright future ahead of him. This boy was always smiling. But the male and the female that were taken down to the police station for questioning were identified as 24-year-old Rahul Gupta and Taylor Gould. They were graduates of George Washington University as well, and that is where they had met their friend Mark. They even all graduated the same year. Rahul had studied to be a doctor. He loved science and math. He was said to be very intelligent. Taylor had studied biomedical engineering, and she and Rahul had actually began dating their senior year, moving in together February 2013. She was then working at the FDA at the time and even helped Rahul pay some of the bills as he was studying for his second master's degree. They all had much going for them. They had a wonderful future, but this would change everything. Investigators found out that this apartment was the home of Taylor and Rahul, who lived together. The two suspects in a murder turned out to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and at the police station, Rahul and Taylor were being questioned separately, but they both couldn't remember what had happened. They were both obviously intoxicated, and Rahul had also been smoking pot. Now, the events that led up to the death were eventually worked out, and so the timeline was found to be that on Saturday, October 12th, Rahul, Taylor, and Mark were all celebrating at the DuPont Circle neighborhood of Washington, D.C. for Rahul's birthday. Rahul and Taylor had actually had dinner prior to that, just the two of them, and then they had met up with Mark Waugh, who Rahul had been friends with since high school, and also a friend named Josh White. All four spent an hour at the bar together before moving to another bar. But this is where Rahul and Josh went out to smoke outside of the bar, and then they moved on to the third bar, and that is when they decided to go home. Rahul and Taylor were headed back to their shared apartment, and Mark tagged along with them. Surveillance footage would capture the trio arriving in the apartment building at around 1:50 the morning of October 13th, and an hour and a half later was when this 911 call would be placed. A few hours later, at 5:05 a.m., while in the holding cell at Montgomery County Police Department, Rahul would yell at the officer, Andrew Richardson, that he was going to sue the out of him. He began pounding on the door of the cell, screaming that he wanted a lawyer. Now, neighbors at this apartment complex told investigators that they had actually heard loud noises coming from this apartment about 45 minutes prior to the police arriving. They had heard a loud bang and then a male voice saying to call 911. So investigators were putting this timeline together for the night, and they decided to question their other friend, Josh White. During the birthday celebrations at the second bar was said to be where everything began. Josh would say that when he went out to smoke with Rahul, that's when he confided in Rahul that he believed that his girlfriend Taylor was flirting with him. So at the third bar, when all four were together, Mark then told Rahul that Josh was trying to make a move on Taylor, the opposite of what Josh had said. Mark said that Josh was even making her uncomfortable. At this point, Josh was brought in. He denied this. He decided to go home and separate from them completely around 1:30 a.m. Josh said to investigators that it made this very awkward, and Rahul was getting really pissed off. Taylor said she would never do that to Rahul, but Rahul's friends believed that Taylor was being disloyal.
She has a tendency to be a little flirtatious to Rahul's friends. And I just asked her, like, straight up, like, what's the deal? Like, you know, you're a little flirtatious. She said I couldn't do that to Rahul. You know, I love him very much. It sounded like I was hitting on her. And so he took that very bad way. He was pretty pissed off. Rahul was just like, I just want to have fun for my birthday. And then Taylor was just like, we should just go. Obviously, I don't trust that Taylor girl.
Josh then told investigators he didn't trust Taylor. This is when Taylor, Rahul, and Mark would go back to their Silver Spring apartment, and they were seen in the lobby of the apartment and then the elevator. They stepped off onto Taylor's apartment's floor, and footage inside the elevator showed no signs of distress or even a disagreement. However, Taylor was wearing a different outfit at the time of the arrest compared to when she entered the apartment after her night out. No, this wasn't strange, as she appeared to have changed to some sort of pajamas after her night out clothes had been on all night. But Taylor was asked at the police department about the odd conversations at the bar, and she said that Josh was texting her weird things and hitting on her. Now, Officer Dean Skibba, who was working that night and was said to step into the apartment, said it was like a horror movie. There was blood all over the wall, the ground, and every person inside. Crime scene photos would show that when Taylor was arrested, she was sitting outside of her apartment with blood smeared on her legs. Blood would later be found also on the bottom of her feet and her hands. Now, Officer Skibba said that when they made their way over to Rahul, who was covered in blood and thought to be unconscious, he suddenly sat up, alert. They helped him to the toilet, and he was rambling. And that is when he would say something that caught everyone off guard. Rahul allegedly told the officer, "They were cheating. My girlfriend was cheating on me. My buddy and my girlfriend were cheating. I walked in on my buddy and my girlfriend cheating. I killed my buddy." But on the ride to the police department, Rahul stated to the officers that he was very drunk and that his statement was untrue, that he only said this to protect his girlfriend. While in the holding cell, Rahul wasn't just asking for a lawyer and yelling that he was going to sue them. He was also allegedly saying, "I effed up. He tried to stab me, though, as well. This guy's a real dick. He tried to kill me and my family." 5 hours later, at 8:10 a.m., Rahul was moved to an interrogation room with Detective Paula Hamill. Rahul answered questions for around 55 minutes, not requesting to see or speak to a lawyer until afterwards. He was sobering up a bit, and he told the police at this point that he did not kill his friend, but he thought he knew who did. During further interrogation, Rahul would tell police that when they got to the apartment, it was clear that Taylor and Mark had something going on. So he said he went to do his own thing and he was alerted to the stabbing. He had fallen asleep And Taylor allegedly started screaming, and Mark was on the ground bleeding, so he got up, tried to stop the bleeding, hold the pressure as he hugged him. He said he didn't ask Taylor what had happened or knew what happened between Tay and Mark while he was asleep, but he did say that Taylor was hesitant to call the police when he asked her to.
If I wanted to stab Mark, I would have remembered every detail of it. I would remember coming up to him, confronting him, and stabbing him. But I don't know what happened to him, but I know for a fact that I didn't do all of that.
Right.
I didn't stab him. I didn't attack him. I didn't
How do you
confront
do the
him.
two? You didn't get in a fight, you didn't try to hurt you, and you didn't get the knife back and protect yourself.
It just didn't happen. Like
Well, you don't know that. You keep saying, I don't know.
Well, I don't know what happened between Tay and Mark,
Okay.
but I do know for a fact that I was doing my own thing, and then when I was alerted to the situation, I went to Mark.
Okay.
That's what I do know. And I didn't stab anyone, but as soon as I found out that Mark had been sort of punctured here, I tried to stop the bleeding. I tried to give him CPR. I kept telling Tay to call the police, and she sort of, I don't want to say hesitated, but just sort of, when we all three of us got back to the apartment, it was clear that something was going on.
Okay. Like, did it be clear because, did you see them kissing or touching?
No, they just
the way they acted?
Yeah, the body language, and I sort of just looked the other way. And I sat down and just started doing my own thing.
You didn't stab him, then who did? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ask her what happened? Like,
No,
any normal person would be like, what happened?
Probably should have done that, yeah. I found out that Taylor and Mark may have been going out or something behind my back.
Now, investigators were frustrated at this point because they had previously spoken to his girlfriend Taylor, who also claimed that she could not remember exactly what happened. When Taylor was brought into the interrogation room, she was asking the detective to tell her what happened because they were all drinking. The detective told her that Mark died, and she acted shocked, saying, "What? Oh my God." She had her head in her hands. She was asking what happened, how he died. She thought he was okay. All she remembered was Rahul telling her to call 911. But the 911 call also recorded Rahul telling what was believed to be Taylor to get off of him.
Honestly, I just wish I knew what happened. I'm kind of hoping you can, will you be able to or no?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that you'll be able to fill me in with what happened, actually.
Okay.
Because clearly something happened.
Yeah.
And I know that you're remembering like something with video games, and then the next thing you know, Rahul is telling you to call the police or whatever. But there's a big gap of time in between there where something happened. Okay, and I believe that you know what happened, and that's something that you need to tell me about. Okay.
Yeah, but we were drinking.
I understand that you were drinking. Okay, I understand that.
Okay. Josh was texting me, and it was really weird, and he was kind of hitting on me, and
Josh was?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. So I told Mark, because I was kind of like, what do I do? This is Rahul's friend. I don't know what to do.
Mark is dead.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God. What happened?
So that's what we're trying to find out?
How did he die?
I don't know.
Is there even a remote possibility that you did this to Mark and you don't remember?
I can't imagine hurting someone like that.
At what point do you two well-educated people say, what the happened? Like, why is this dude dead in my apartment? Like, how did he get hurt? Or what's wrong with him?
I don't know.
Like, why would Rahul get so upset that he would do something to Mark?
I don't think he would. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Rahul says that he felt like something was going on with you guys.
What?
You screamed, you started screaming, and that he turned around and that Mark was on the ground bleeding. I mean, what reason would you have to hurt Mark? You didn't wake up to, like, him trying to you.
I don't remember anything.
He says he didn't do anything to him, therefore you must have done it.
Now, Taylor seemed to be very honest. She told the police that she didn't think she did it, but she couldn't be sure. She said that she didn't want Raul to be charged in the murder if she was responsible. So Detective Hamill asked Taylor if she had a sexual relationship with Mark. Taylor said no multiple times immediately. Even though she didn't remember anything from that night, she could absolutely not imagine her doing that. She said that if it did happen and they found evidence, that she wasn't going to deny it.
Imagine hurting someone like that. I'm just confused because, like, I'm not trying to put the blame on the wrong person.
No sexual relationship with Mark?
No. If you find evidence otherwise, I'm not going to deny it.
Were you in bed with Mark? At all?
Not.
During the night?
No.
Did you have sex with Mark? Anything happened with Mark during the last night?
But they were both continuing to say that they didn't actually remember the murder. Raul said, "It's kind of shitty that I don't even remember what happened." Even when Detective Hamill was trying to show empathy by telling Raul that she wouldn't blame him if he did kill Mark due to the cheating, he still denied it. Detective Hamill would say that it was clear that they were in a haze of alcohol. But investigators also noticed that Taylor had changed a third time between being arrested and being interrogated. And all of these outfits she had worn were found inside of the apartment, covered in Mark's blood. Taylor was questioned about this. She was told she was wearing a white t-shirt and pink underwear when she was arrested. And her only response was that she was surprised she would wear that around Mark.
When the police got to your house, like, you weren't wearing this, okay? Because they have pictures of you. You had like a white t-shirt on and like pink underwear.
I'm kind of surprised I wore that in front of her.
Clearly, interacted with the body because I had blood on me.
Right.
I just don't know when it happened.
Forensic analysis from the crime scene investigators located hair on Mark's hand as though he was holding it. Hair was also stuck to the wall next to his body in blood, and there was hair on his shirt and the knife. This hair was believed to belong to Taylor. However, no tests were done because it didn't matter since she lived there and technically her hair would be there regardless. But they also located a contact lens on the back of his jeans that also belonged to Taylor. But what was found on Mark's phone was one of the strangest pieces of this case because at 2:01, an hour and a half prior to the murder, he had messaged a friend saying, "My night is becoming historically awkward." At 2:19 a.m., he said, "I'm about to gnaw off my hand so I can leave in the ambulance." At 2:55 a.m., he said, "Awake? I need help." And nothing more came after that. After 5 hours of interrogation, Raul and Taylor were placed in the same room for the first time to see if they would slip up and confess. While Taylor was asking Raul if he was okay, he was asking her what happened to Mark. Raul seemed very upset at Taylor, stating that he wanted to know where their lawyers were. She asked if she should go and ask for them, and Raul began to get very irritated, saying that he wanted to poop, to eat, that he was hungry, and Taylor was apologizing as though it was her fault. Raul then asked her if she had stabbed Mark, and her answer didn't change from what she had said talking to Detective Hamill. She didn't think so. She said she could be in shock, which is why she hesitated when calling 911, and he continued to ask if she had done this. She was saying she didn't know. So they proceeded to argue, and she then asked if she could kiss him, but he says, "Not right now."
What happened? Hey,
I don't know.
what happened to Mark?
I don't know. That's what I told them because I don't remember anything past confronting you about Josh and then you screaming at me to call 911. And that's what I told them.
Where's our lawyers? I've been here all night.
Do you want me to ask for them?
Yeah. I want to get out of here. I want to poop. I want to eat. I'm hungry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Look, they said that you thought that we were...
Did you stab Mark or no?
I don't think, I wouldn't do that. Why would I attack someone?
Jay, why did you hesitate when I asked you to
I
call
don't know,
911?
because I was I guess in shock. I mean, all I remember is you yelling at me to, call someone.
I want my lawyer, dude. I can't stay here. I'm hungry as I need to eat.
Okay.
I need to Mark. I did not stab him.
I don't think I did either. I really don't think I did. Like, I don't think I did anything.
Fine, dude. Just go out there and tell them that I want my lawyer and I want to get the f*** out of here.
Okay, I just... Is it out of the question to even ask if you're okay?
We're fine right now. I just need to get the f*** out of here, dude.
Please,
what happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm freaking out, okay? I don't know.
I need to Mark. I did not stab him.
I don't think I did either.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm freaking out, okay? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what happened.
Go out there and tell them that I want my lawyer. If I don't get a lawyer, then I'm going to sue. Go out there and tell them that.
Is that you? No.
Not right now. Did you stab Mark or no?
I don't think, like, I wouldn't do that. Why would I attack someone?
Taylor Gould was released at this point, but Rahul Gupta was charged with murder. Detective Hamill said that they let her go because there was more evidence to support that he was responsible. The detective didn't believe that they had done this together. Now, his parents actually hired Phil Armstrong and Jennifer Page as his defense lawyers. He was being held on $2 million bail for first-degree murder. His family had actually built a successful printing business. They lived in an affluent suburb in Virginia. They had enough money to get lawyers for their son. His defense lawyers were saying people do crazy things under stress, that the bottom line is he was innocent, that Rahul was a kind, mild-mannered man whose life intent was to marry Taylor, have a family, and help society. Rahul's family did not believe these claims that he had murdered his friend. His brother said that they were taught as a family to be loyal friends because they were raised believing that anything worth having was worth working hard to keep. He said that his brother was a very calm person, though prosecutors said they were finding the opposite of those claims, that he was overly competitive, confrontational, and had a temper that got worse when he drank. In fact, an ex-girlfriend allegedly confirmed, saying that she had housemates that wouldn't allow him to come over when he was drinking due to him becoming a different person. They didn't feel safe. The trial began on March 2nd of 2015, and Rahul Gupta pleaded not guilty. His lawyers claimed that his first confession should be thrown out due to the intoxication and stress due to saving his friend's life. That in the elevator footage, Mark was laughing and he and Rahul seemed to be interacting favorably. They pointed out the 911 call saying that Rahul could be heard yelling to call 911 and begging Mark to breathe. His lawyers claimed that that was inconsistent with a man who hated a friend so much that he stabbed him 11 times. They then promised to show the jury that not only was he not a murderer, but that Taylor was. Now, prosecutors Timothy Hagan and Patrick Mays argued that Rahul was a jealous boyfriend who believed that his girlfriend was cheating on him with a friend. Rahul's palm print and fingerprint were found in Mark's blood. Taylor was also believed to be too small at 5'5", 125 pounds, to fight with Mark, who fought back against his killer. They said that she couldn't have possibly pushed the blade in 7 inches into his back like it was. And now they stated she did not appear to have any wounds on her of a fight, but the defense argued this, saying that when she got to the police department, she was photographed with 2 peculiar marks on her hand just below the knuckle of her little finger. They believed that her hand kind of slid down the knife and hit the bottom of the handle. They alleged that Taylor's fingernails were broken and bloody, not to mention that the hair believed to be Taylor's was on the murder weapon. The defense tried to say that Taylor even carried a knife for protection, but the state objected to this and it was thrown out. Taylor Gould would be on the stand to testify as a witness for 2 days. Once again, she stated she blacked out. She didn't remember anything. And still, while knowing that her boyfriend had pointed the finger at her, she did not point the finger back at him. But this time, she was adamant that she did not kill Mark. She was not capable of that, and she now knew that. She had no reason to hurt anyone. Rahul would then testify in his own defense. He was said to be calm and composed. Rahul believed that Taylor had killed Mark because she was angry and upset about what happened back at the bar. He claimed that she became angrier when they got back to the apartment, and Mark even suggested that he and Rahul left for the evening in order to give everyone some air and some time to cool off. Rahul claimed that while he was looking for his shoes to leave, he fell and he hit his head. When he woke back up, he saw that Mark had been attacked, and so he tried to slow Mark's bleeding and give him CPR. He said he only falsely confessed to police to keep Taylor out of trouble. On cross-examination, Rahul was confronted about how a brutal attack could have happened without him noticing. And the prosecutor, Patrick Mays, then began showing texts between Taylor and Rahul prior, with their relationship showing that it was in trouble. He said Rahul would have never confessed for a woman who was talking to him like this. And in these texts, Taylor was complaining about their sex life. She wrote, "Our sex life may not be salvageable," to which he responded, "You shouldn't have to make yourself have sex with me." It was then revealed to the jury that Rahul had made a call from jail to his father after 15 hours in custody. This had been recorded, and Rahul was heard saying,
"I'm in jail.
What happened?"
Mark and I got into a fight, and he tried to get a knife, and then I grabbed the knife.
Who did you get into a fight with?
Mark.
On March 16th of 2015, after 4.5 hours of jury deliberation, Rahul Gupta was found guilty of first-degree murder. He appeared to be wiping his tears as this was announced, and he was sentenced to life in prison.
I think that the speed with which the verdict came in for first-degree murder, I think, indicates that they very, very quickly dispatched the theory that was proposed by the defense. He showed no recognition of his own culpability, his own accountability, did not apologize to these family members, did not accept responsibility for what he had done. Throwing your loved one under the bus for the purposes of saving your own skin doesn't fly too far with juries.
Mark's father said,
"Mark's murder is an evil that we cannot comprehend, a dark evil. He was a wonderful young man with a great deal of promise. Mark was a gift from God, and his death is a tragedy that we must carry for the rest of our lives."
It was believed that if Rahul was the killer, his motive was likely jealousy, whether that was in his head or whether this was a cheating scandal he was actually aware of or caught. Now, Taylor Gould was believed to be an innocent bystander. Detective Paula Hamill, who had interrogated both in the couple, said that she was comfortable with Taylor not being held criminally responsible for the murder and that she is legally not guilty. But the detective also believes that Taylor may have played some role in what happened that night. She could have set up an environment that made Rahul become very upset. She believed that Taylor could have been in a relationship with Mark behind Rahul's back. Taylor Gould was said to go on to get her MBA and live her life normally. And in 2017, Rahul's sister spoke to 48 Hours that if they could bring Mark back, they could. That he was their brother's friend and Mark was so good for him. She said that they didn't even know about the murder. They just knew that Rahul and Taylor were not there for dinner. They were missing. And so that is when they found out that they were actually in custody as suspects for murder. His sister did not believe that the confession was ever made in the apartment, and she said she has never seen her brother mad. She says at the end of the day, she's happy though because she still has her brother she can go and see and talk to, and Mark's family can't do that. In 2018, Mark's parents were awarded $12 million in the wrongful death lawsuit against Rahul Gupta. They filed suit against him alleging battery, wrongful death, and survival. They claimed that their son Mark lived for a period of time after being stabbed, and he moved across the apartment in an attempt to escape the attack. And in this suit, it actually spoke of the family's findings that Mark was attacked in the living room area, and then he was kneeling or crouching near the north wall, which caused the blood on the wall. And then he landed in a sitting position on the right side of the bed, and then he ended up on the floor. The trail of blood through the apartment was what led them to believe that he was trying to escape. In 2023, Rahul's sister, who was Shireen Rapport, claimed that she is actually writing a book about her brother's case because they now know that he was wrongfully convicted. She wrote, "My brother, Rahul Gupta, has been serving a life sentence since 2015 for the murder of his best friend, Mark Waugh. Over the next several weeks, I will be sharing our journey to find out the truth and about how these closest to the case, including my red experts in forensics and DNA analysis believe that Rahul is innocent and has been wrongfully convicted. We now know that the state hid key evidence from us. We have world-renowned experts who have looked at our case and have agreed that the story presented by the state does not add up. Through this book, I hope to help readers understand the exponential impact a wrongful conviction can have on a family and on future generations. The pain doesn't stop when the trial ends. In many ways, that is only the beginning of a very long journey. A journey that may not have an end, but a journey that must be taken. This book will also attempt to piece together what we believe actually happened that night on October 13th, 2013, just as Rahul has been piecing together the evidence that can finally exonerate him from his prison cell. I was unable to find updates on this book, or the information they alleged has pointed them to a wrongful conviction. But what do you believe based on the information we know? What really happened at the bars? Who was flirting with who? Did this make someone really angry, whether it was Rahul or Taylor? What did you see on the surveillance videos? Were these three friends in a good mood? Do you think they were just joking around? And if so, how could that have so drastically changed in a few hours? What would cause Mark to start texting that it was so awkward he wanted to gnaw his own hand off? Was Rahul and Taylor fighting in front of him and they wouldn't let him leave and he felt awkward? The detective thinks that it could actually have been Taylor trying to make moves on him and he didn't know what to do. Was rejection Taylor's motive and she was actually the killer? You know, I'd really love to hear from Taylor's friends if this is how she acts when she's drunk. Does she often black out, lose her memory? Does she get angry? What is she like? And was the strange 911 call because she was intoxicated, or was this because she was trying not to implicate herself further in the murder? Why would she lie and say she was all alone when her friend was dying in front of her? Rahul Gupta would appeal his sentence, claiming that his statements shouldn't have been allowed in court due to him asking for a lawyer prior to the interrogation, though it was found by Officer Anderson, who had heard Rahul say this in his cell, that he had told the officers who then interrogated him that he had asked for a lawyer. One officer remembered, the other officer didn't, but when they got into the interrogation room, they did read him his rights, and he didn't ask them for a lawyer, so this appeal was denied. Is the real killer still walking the streets? Should Taylor have gone to trial to determine her part in this murder? What do you think? What really happened in apartment 1601? Did they do this together? The detective really does not think so. But is that a possibility? Let me know all of your thoughts, because this one is one that's going to haunt me forever. I don't know. And I just want to say rest in peace, Mark Waugh. You did not deserve that. And I so wish you were able to tell your friend more over those texts about what was happening that could lead to justice in this case. And justice, we know, is the correct justice. I just hope that a real killer isn't walking the streets. But don't forget to speak up. Your voice is powerful enough. And I love you to absolute pieces. Okay.